Hey everyone! Welcome to K-Drama Chronicles. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, share, and turn on the post notifications so you never miss a new upload. Tong Liya's relentless stand and the letter that pulled Jerry Yong from his darkest hour. When a person falls to their lowest point, it often takes just one act of courage, one spark of faith, to pull them back from the edge. For Jerry Yong, a man once celebrated for his brilliance but crushed under the weight of failure, that spark came from two things: Tong Liya's unwavering resolve and a letter that would change everything. The rise before the fall. Jerry Yong had always been known as a visionary. From his early career, he was the kind of figure people described as unstoppable, driven, intelligent, almost untouchable in his ambition. But the higher you climb, the harder you fall. And Jerry's fall was nothing short of brutal. By the time he reached his mid-30s, his professional life had spiraled. Deals collapsed, partners walked away, and the media that once hailed him as a prodigy turned against him overnight. Rumors swirled. Critics sharpened their knives. And behind the headlines, Jerry was silently crumbling. For someone who had built his identity around success, failure felt like erasure. He withdrew, pushing away friends and colleagues. But there was one person he couldn't push away: Tong Liya. Tong Liya's relentless stand. Tong Liya wasn't just a bystander in Jerry's life. She had been his anchor long before the storm. Known publicly as a celebrated actress and dancer, she carried a grace that made her seem untouchable. But those close to her knew she had an iron will, a refusal to abandon those she believed in. When Jerry hit rock bottom, everyone advised her to leave. Why carry someone else's burden, they asked. His mistakes aren't your responsibility, they warned. But Tong Liya refused to listen. She saw something that others didn't. The same qualities that had built Jerry's rise were still there, buried beneath his shame. Walking away wasn't an option for her. Her decision wasn't about pity. It was about conviction. The depth of Jerry's despair. By this point, Jerry's days were heavy and endless. He rarely left his apartment. He barely ate. He avoided calls, stopped answering messages, and convinced himself that the world had moved on without him. "I thought I was done," Jerry would later admit. "I didn't think there was a way back." But Tong Liya showed up anyway, sometimes with words, sometimes with silence, and sometimes just with her presence. She didn't push him to heal overnight. She didn't demand he be strong for her. Instead, she reminded him every single day that even broken things could be rebuilt. Still, nothing seemed to work. Not until the letter arrived. The letter that changed everything. It wasn't from a fan. It wasn't from a business associate. It wasn't even signed. It came in a plain envelope, slid under Jerry's door. The handwriting was shaky, almost hesitant, as if the person who wrote it had struggled to find the courage to send it. Inside were just a few lines. "I don't know what you're going through, but please remember this. You once inspired me to believe in myself when no one else did. I'm standing today because of you. Don't quit. The world still needs what you have to give." Jerry read it once, then twice, and for the first time in months, something shifted inside him. "It was like someone had thrown me a rope," he later said. "I didn't even know who they were. But they believed in me, and suddenly, I wanted to believe too." When he showed the letter to Tong Liya, she didn't say, "I told you so." She simply nodded, as if she had been waiting for this moment all along. Climb back up. Recovery wasn't instant. There were setbacks, doubts, and days that felt like starting from zero. But with Tong Liya at his side and the letter pinned above his desk as a daily reminder, Jerry began to rebuild. He reached out to old colleagues not to beg for chances, but to take responsibility for his mistakes. He started small projects, knowing they might fail, but embracing the process instead of fearing it. And gradually, his vision returned. By the time Jerry stepped back into the public eye, he wasn't the same man he had been before his downfall. He was steadier, more grounded. Success mattered, yes, but so did the people who stood by him when he had nothing. The unspoken truth between them. Tong Liya never asked for recognition. When people praised her for saving Jerry, she would smile faintly and say, "He saved himself." But Jerry knew the truth. Without her relentless stand, her refusal to let go, he might never have opened that letter, never allowed himself to hope again. Their story became more than just a tale of personal redemption. It became a testament to what can happen when belief collides with action, when one person refuses to let another disappear, and when a single anonymous voice reminds someone of their worth. Conclusion: a story bigger than them both. Today, Jerry speaks openly about that chapter of his life, sharing the letter at conferences and in interviews. He never found out who wrote it, but he calls them his silent collaborator, the one who unknowingly sparked his return. And Tong Liya. She continues her career with the same quiet strength, rarely referencing that dark period. But those who know her say this story captures her essence perfectly: determined, compassionate, and unwilling to give up on someone she believes in. In the end, Tong Liya's relentless stand and the letter that pulled Jerry Yang from his darkest hour isn't just about two individuals. It's about the lifelines we throw to one another, often without realizing their impact. It's about how courage doesn't always look like grand gestures. It can be as simple as staying, as quiet as a handwritten note. And perhaps it's about this universal truth. Sometimes the thing that saves us is not just love, but the reminder that we still have something worth giving to the world.